Old school RuneScape has always been, at its core, a game about permanence. Your account, your skills, your grind. A world that doesn't change unless the community votes for it. A game where the progress you make today will still be there in 10 years untouched. That's one of the promises old school RuneScape was built on, which is why, in 2019, what Jagex announced felt genuinely radical.
The idea is that the player will get more powerful from unlocking the twisted relics, so it's not just going to be a straight flat XP boost for the entire league. As for how far players will get, well, we have a task in there to max. I'm sure someone will do it.
They called it Leagues, a temporary self-contained mode where the rules of old school RuneScape could be rewritten, where your account started fresh, where the experience rates were cranked up, regions were locked off, and you were handed abilities that would never exist in the main game. Everything was broken in a good way. It wasn't permanent and it was never meant to be. But for the players who jumped in on the 14th of November 2019, the day Twisted League went live, it felt like something completely new had been injected into the very old world of Gielinor.
And right, we're in, boys. Accept, let's go. Skip. Shut up, people. Send me to the mainland. Take me to Zaya immediately. Yes, we're in. We have a relic. Beats out, boys! Run!
The team's goals were simple, at least on paper. Take the bones of old school RuneScape, strip it back and rebuild it into something that felt fresh, without losing what made it special. And it worked. Twisted League was a hit. Trailblazer came next, bigger, bolder, more chaotic. Then Shattered Relics, the Trailblazer Reloaded, then Raging Echoes, and now Demonic Packs. 6 iterations, all with different rule sets, giving the community a reason to come back, to race each other for ranks, to argue about relic choices, and maybe even snag themselves a dragon trophy. But it wasn't just a new game mode that was brought in. There was also a new god in the works. Something that would turn Gielinor on its head, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Bear with me. Somewhere between Twisted League and where we are now, something changed. Because in the early leagues, the first 2, there seemed to be no story, no lore, no explanation for why this version of Gielinor existed, or who was responsible for it. There was just the game mode. Until there wasn't. January 2022, Shattered Relics League. Before you even load into the world, there's a cutscene. You're on a river, a dark one, calm, but wrong somehow. And standing over you is a figure you've never seen before. They are robed and kind of eerie, and then they speak.
Another chapter concluded. Thankfully, we are safe here on this river. Don't worry, the next chapter is being written as we speak.
This was the first time Jagex gave Leagues a narrator, a character whose job, apparently, was to ease you into this new version of Gielinor and make sure you understood the rules. They called them the Sage.
When you first arrive, a powerful sage will guide you through the River of Souls in preparation for your new adventure. As you'll learn, this sage isn't a fan of the all-powerful relics you had fun with in previous leagues and has shattered them into fragments.
On the surface, the Sage is exactly what you'd expect from an NPC in their position. They explain the mechanics, they hand out power, they point you towards the task list and help you understand the new rules of this particular league. Ask them anything and they'll answer. Ask them how the content unlock system works and they'll walk you through it. Ask them about fragments, about relics, about how to earn renown. You got it. For most players, that's all the Sage ever was. A tutorial NPC with better dialogue than most. But if you actually read what they're saying, something starts to feel wrong. Let's start with something basic. Think of every significant character in Gielinor for a moment. Saradomin, Zamorak, Guthix, Zaros, even the smaller ones like Slayer Masters, the royal families, the demigods. Every one of them belongs somewhere. They have allegiances, histories, a place in the world order. The Sage has none of that. No kingdom or faction or any sign of allegiance to a specific god. They arrived in Shattered Relics as if they'd already existed with no explanation for how and no interest in offering one. And when you ask them directly who they are, they say,
Who am I? I am whatever is needed of me.
See, that's not an answer. If you ask me, it's a bit of a deflection. Or perhaps we're missing the bigger picture. Push further and they give you something even stranger. Quote,
I am a form undefined by natural laws, manifested by someone we mustn't speak of.
mustn't speak of. That word implies consequence. It implies that even here, even in a private conversation between the sage and the player, naming their master, whoever that may be, carries risk. That someone or something might be listening. And then the sage says this, quote,
I'm a clay doll, shaped by a sculptor, never allowed to set, forever malleable, but maybe not for long.
What does that mean? And why does the sage, who answers every mechanical question with calm precision, suddenly trail off on that one? Let's look at what the sage is actually capable of. What kind of power are we dealing with here? First of all, we need to address the relics. During the opening cutscene of Leagues 3, the shattered relics, the sage, looking over at what is assumed to be the player, sees that we have relics on us and says,
Oh yes, you brought along the relics. They were fun last time, but they find them boring now. Let's see if I can shuffle the pieces, create something new. The eyes beyond our own need new stories.
So we can confirm they wield enough power to change relics in some form, an ability to construct powerful artifacts with roots stretching through old-school RuneScape history. The sage also says,
These objects of power are now gone. I have broken them into fragments and spread across this iteration of the world.
Not the world, this iteration. Now that's something to note. The sage can also tamper with memories. In Shattered Relics, they tell you plainly.
I've limited and reset some of your memories, meaning you won't be able to interact with certain elements of this world.
They reached inside your mind and decided what you were allowed to remember. But not only this, the sage can also awaken what they call, quote, the wrathful spirits of enemies, unquote. You probably know them as Echo Bosses, supercharged, twisted versions of Gillinor's most powerful monsters, simply called into existence for the player to fight. The sage can travel through layers of reality, iterations of worlds. They can grant abilities that have no equivalent anywhere else in the game, and they have collected from other worlds items of almost incomprehensible origin. The sage tells the player, quote,
I collected these lost items from other worlds and kept them with me. I'm happy to offer them as an incentive for playing your part in this event.
These are the League rewards, and these items are truly interesting. Take the Whip Ornament Kit, for example. The sage says it's, quote, imbued with the energy of thousands of lost souls, forever trapped in the bondage of their iron chains. Each crack releases a deafening howl from the screams of its victims trapped within, unquote. But this is where it all kind of comes together, and I'm getting to that god, so stay with me. The sage doesn't frame any of this as helping you. When you ask why they've limited your skills, why you can't just have everything at once, they say,
I can't just give you all that power. What kind of story starts with the hero with all the power they want? No, your story needs good rhythm, a sort of cadence that makes things interesting for your audience.
Unquote. Your audience. Not your competition, not the other players on the high scores. Your audience. Rather curious, don't you think? So maybe the sage isn't such a bad character, hey? I mean, it seems like they saved us from our inevitable demise at the start of Shattered Relics. Well, they didn't save us for free, and in exchange for our life, they made the terms very clear.
In return for your continued survival, I need something from you. I need your skills, your strength. I need you to be entertaining.
Then they say,
to give everything away at this point would be unwise, considering we are being watched even now.
Right now, as you stand there in the tutorial, asking about fragment slots and task lists, they say that you're being watched. And by the end of the tutorial, as you step out into the League world for the first time, the sage's parting words are,
remember, we are always being watched.
So who is we? Who is watching with the sage? Remember this quote?
The eyes beyond our own need new stories.
And so I'm sitting here trying to put the puzzle together. The eyes beyond our own, something that requires the sage, as powerful as they are, to perform for it. And the stakes, in case you are unclear, quote,
I will keep things simple for you. Participate in this event and you will continue to exist. Refusal to participate will end in your eventual destruction.
It seems that the player is a performer in a show they never agreed to be a part of. The sage didn't save you because they care about you. They saved you because you are useful. Because whatever looks down at us from beyond the world needed the cast refreshed. And at the end of the league, when your time on this layer of reality is up, quote,
Of course, the real reward for participating will be my master and I sparing your life once the event ends.
So it's clear, the Sage serves a master, and one that decides whether you live or collapse with the world when it ends. Something or someone with immense power, something that seems to be on par with a god, and that something almost came into reality. So who is the Sage's master? The answer was almost given to us and then quietly buried. When the early design work for the Leagues was being developed, Jagex's art director at the time commissioned character art for a new god, a deity who would sit at the top of everything. The force that governed the layers of reality controlled passage through the river of souls and served as the ultimate authority behind everything the Sage was set up to do. His name was Kronis. According to Mod Ash, who later discussed this publicly, there was, in his words, a small dispute in the office. See, others on the team felt it was unfitting for the existing lore if a new god got introduced out of nowhere. So Kronis was unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, who knows, scrapped. But the Sage remained. In fact, according to Mod Ash, the concept art for Kronis was actually released by mistake, so we really should have never known about this mysterious new god. And so now the Sage is a servant without a named master, the construct whose power points to a god who officially does not exist. You can still see him though. If you look at the concept sketches, the Sage's visual design carries traces of Kronis within it. The same silhouette, the same energy, the same suggestion of something that exists outside the normal hierarchy of Gilinor's divine order. A god was planned to explain all of this. The god was removed, the Sage was kept, which leaves one question sitting at the center of everything. If they removed the god, why is the servant still there? Who or what is the Sage serving? And so now we're here, the Demonic Pax League, and the shape of things have changed. The Sage is no longer running the League from a position of comfort. They are in a cage, taken hostage by the demon Yama, a creature powerful enough to look at this being, this entity that navigates the river of souls and collapses worlds, and say, I have you. Yama's threat isn't subtle. He says, quote,
You cannot possibly fathom the potential futures I am conjuring for the contents of that cage, should they fail me. If I told you but one element of my intent, your mind would collapse and your soul would scream with agony for 1,000 years.
A little dramatic if you ask me. The Sage, for all of their power, for all of their ability to travel between layers of reality and reshape the rules of the world, can be caged, can be threatened and made to bargain, which means they are not a god, not in any sense Gilinor recognizes. There's something stranger and far more specific than that. A construct manifested by someone whose name has been forgotten, operating in service of eyes that watch from beyond the world, capable of extraordinary things and still, somehow, cageable. So here is what we know. The Sage is not a guide. They're a performer, a clay doll shaped by a sculptor, never allowed to set. Each league is a story, written to specifications, structured for rhythm, paced for an audience that watches from somehow beyond the known world. When the league ends, the layers collapse, the players disappear, the world stops existing, and the Sage moves on. No rest, no celebration, just the river of souls stretching out ahead of them and the quiet certainty that another chapter needs to be written. Another layer of reality shaped, another set of players pulled from the wreckage of the last one, saved not out of kindness, but because the show must go on. So the next time you load into a league, when you're standing at that tutorial, picking your relic, reading the task list, thinking about your route to dragon rank, remember what the Sage told you right before you walked into the world. Quote,
Remember, we are always watching.
Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you want more. I'll be back next week with another video. Okay, bye.